Okay, OBS is recording the screen. Let me just see how much of the screen OBS is actually recording because it seems there's not everything show. I want to see OBS. Yeah, it's not everything. It's a good part of the screen. I just want to know how much until here. So this is my useful space in the screen, and I can have OBS right in there. You're not seeing OBS. Let me share my screen. Hey Baggy, how's it going, bro? Let me share my screen. I'm gonna share the whole screen. Maybe it's gonna be a little hard for you guys to see things because what happens is that my screen is widescreen, so maybe try zooming out. I'll try using just a part of the screen so you guys can zoom in and out of it. And let me just get OBS out of view here, and I kind of know that. Okay, guys. Okay, let's start. So the idea here is that we're gonna. Hey, Baggy, you there? Can you speak? Let's see if Baggy talks to us. Guys, I hate when you guys don't speak. Really, I don't like that. But that's okay. Let me go back. And so the idea is that we're going to explore Vyper. This is especially good for people that maybe don't have a lot of experience with development because you're going to approach maybe. And Michel, feel free, and also Baggy, to join and ask and help me at any point. This is not a course, it's a research section, so which means that we're simply going to dive into that. There's no specific method, although I'd like to develop one. So let's start. I guess the first thing we have to do when approaching something completely new like that is open their website, and I'm gonna just search. I'm gonna go on Google and I'm gonna search for Vyper language to see what comes up. Okay, here we have a documentation, very interesting. So let's open it. The documentation is something that we never look at, but it's quite important. I know I've been a developer forever. I know it's hard to stop and read the fucking docs, but try to do it because it will really help you. Of course, we're not going to be reading all this stuff today. I'm going to try to see Vyper by example, just so we can see what kind of happens in a Vyper smart contract. So this is our auction. I'm not even going to look at that so it doesn't confuse me. I want to see something simple, like a simple storage. I'm going to try to first reproduce, the most basic smart contract, and then I'm going to try to understand the language itself, because if I try to go for the language straight on, I'm going to be working more time. There's a really hacky and really good website, Gisty, GitHub Gist, where we can maybe try to search for some code. Let's just go on Google first, because that's also the first thing you should do. So we're gonna go simple storage Vyper smart contract. So the simple storage contract is a classical contract that pretty much it has one variable where you can read and write it. Okay, so we should be able to find that. Okay, so here we have a storage, what seems to be a simple storage smart contract. Now what I want to do, I want to see more examples of code, regarding that. And I also don't know how Vyper structures a contract. So I'm going to go, now that I kind of have the contract I want to test, which is the simple storage contract, I'm going to go for a structure of a contract. And I'm going to try to understand, this is way less documentation, I'm going to try to understand what is the difference here between Vyper and, guys, if I'm going too fast, if you guys can understand, feel free to stop me at any point, okay? So let's go. Structure of a contract. Vyper contracts are contained within files, and okay, this section provides a quick overview on the types of data presented within a contract with links and other sections where you can obtain more details. Version pragma. Vyper supports a version pragma to ensure that a contract is only compiled by the intended compiled version. or a range of versions using the npm style syntax. So that's how we do the pragma. In Solidity, we would go for pragma solidity something. That's interesting. Then we have state variables. Okay, state variables are values that can be stored in the storage of the contract, and they are declared outside of the body of the functions and initially contain a default value. So if we want to do I guess maybe could be the same as a unsigned integer. You know, I'm a little bit confused about this because usually the u in front of the integer means that it's unsigned, meaning that there's no negatives in there. But let's assume this is just uint 128, and you can access that in a object-oriented style. So you can just put the dot and set the value. Very interesting. And now we have functions, and I can already see the visibility set by so these, what is the name of this notation? So this notation sets, so I guess this is something that we learn. So there's a function called bit, and then a function may be called internally or externally depending on their visibility. So same rule as Solidity. Functions may accept input arguments and return values in order to pass values between them. Same functions, we are going to see that now. Let's take a look at events. So events provide, let me see if more people join. 1 second. Yeah, we have Laurenti. Hey, how's it going? Feel free to talk. Okay, open your mic. This is a research section. Everybody's invited. I actually don't know any Vyper, so we're going to learn that together, okay? Events. Events provide an interface for EVMing logging facilities. Just a little bit of a alpha. It's not really alpha, but Ethereum events are based on a log bloom filter. Actually, it's not log bloom, it's just bloom filter. Take a look at that. This is a little bit of one of those tricky senior interview things. I'm just gonna drop that into learn EVM. Okay, and that's something that I'm gonna be doing during the research sections, is interacting with the group, so you guys can also interact back. Okay, so let's go back, and we were talking about events. So events may be logged with specially indexed data structures that allow clients, including light clients, to efficiently search for them. Very interesting. So here we have an event called payment, and we have the parameters and amount. Once again, we've seen the int 128, and we have a sender that is indexed, which I imagine means the same as what indexed means in Solidity. Hey Autocrat, how's it going, boss? So
Yeah, it's good.
good. We're just going over Vyper, learning Vyper together. So indexed means that you're gonna be able to use, so in the bloom filter, those things will be marked. So you're going to be able to search every time you have an event and you have an index parameter. You can use that when searching for specific, blocks and everything, to have a filter inside the event. Okay. So here we have interfaces. An interface is a set of function definitions used to enable calls between smart contracts. A contract interface defines all the contract externally available functions by importing the interface. Your contract knows how to call these functions in other contracts. Okay, so let me just read that again because it was a little bit confusing. An interface is a set of function definitions used to enable calls between smart contracts. Cool. A contract interface defines all contract externally available functions. By importing the interface, your contract knows how to call these functions in other contracts. Awesome. Interface can be added either through inline definition or by importing them from a separated file. So this is something about Vyper. One of the big critics, that criticisms that people have with Vyper is apparently not able to import so easily. So some things we can import, like interfaces, because they are not code. But when it comes to smart contract, it looks like we have to repeat some of the scope, in each contract. But Vyper also offers things like, you know, default interest in protection and bounded memory. There was a really interesting attack that was researching about these days called the return bomb. I'm gonna post that in the group attack. So return bombs, somehow when you're able to manipulate the return of a function and you just can send a really big amount of data, that will kind of cause a denial of service attack in the chain. So let me just try to, yeah, I'm gonna send these here too. So everything is going over learn EVM. Okay, so everything we talk about here in these sections, we'll go over learn EVM. Okay, let's go back to the interfaces. Once defined, an interface can be used to make external calls to a given address. So same rule as Solidity. Let's see. So we pretty much use the same thing as Solidity, but I'm seeing one thing really interesting. Python seems to like the snake case more, or at least for parameters. So we're pretty much calling this contract at this address with the calculate function. There's no return apparently. Okay, and then we have, you know, structures, which are data types or also data structures that you can use to have a object like a syntax on your, you know, data. So cool, kind of the same, doesn't look like it's going to be hard. Now let's go over the installing Vyper section. I'm gonna try to install Vyper and we're gonna try to write the first smart contract. I do think Vyper still uses Brownie and Ganesh, so, and I'm also doing these from a Linux distribution, so we may face some challenges with packages and everything, which is the real world. You know, you're gonna install something, sometimes you can't, you need to install something else, and you know, you compile that from the source and everything. So let's go for, I can see I'm happy because there's a Docker already running for that, but I'm not gonna use that right now. I'm just gonna go for a PAP, let's say internal install, but use Docker every time you can. Docker is amazing. So we're gonna open the terminal, our dear and best friend, and we're gonna do a little bit of I wanted this font. Can you guys read my screen, or is it really terrible to read the screen?
I've zoomed in so I can read it.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna try to change the size of this font so we can get it a little bit bigger. Probably zoom, file, terminal, set title, set color, set encoding. Does anyone know how to work with this terminal here? Paste properties, preferences, okay. And then we're gonna have the font size somewhere here, parents. And okay, let me go. Okay, I don't want 12. I want it a little bit bigger. How? Use system font. Use both font, cell spacing. Well, there's not a font size thing here. Come on, guys. Okay, use system font, and then I want to make it bigger. I can. Maybe here. No, this is the cell spacing. Okay, let's not lose time with this. I hope you guys can read. Okay, so he's telling I'm using fish as my terminal, as my bash, so you guys know that too. Let's put this here, and let's put this here, and let's try to do what they say we should do, which almost never works, but let's try. Pip install, I don't know if I can install pip3, but I guess I can. Install Vyper. Let's see if you're gonna need sudo for that. No, it works, nice. And I can see that we have Vyper 0.3.7. Awesome. Apparently we have Vyper now. Let me try that. Vyper, or maybe pp3 Vyper. No, I think I need to restart this shell. Probably, I don't know. Could be the case that I'm also calling that wrong. Vyper, p3, Vyper. Okay, let's just keep on here to see how he actually called that. So install Vyper and then Nix. Okay, this is it, I guess. I really wish I had like this. Yes, this view. Vyper by example, we have several contracts here. What I want to see is how do I compile creating a simple smart contract with Vyper. And now I'm gonna go back for the other smart contracts, other tutorial that I have, because I had one with the simple storage, and I just think that that's gonna be easier for us to go for. And I'm gonna go for creating a smart contract with Vyper. Let me just go over Google and I'm gonna do this. How to write smart contract using Vyper. I'm gonna go for this article from QuickNote because it's really new. So Vyper 3 was supposed to work. It didn't though. Could be different things. I'm just gonna try to install that again, and I'm gonna try to install it using sudo. So I'm gonna do sudo pip. Maybe let me try with pip. Could be the case too. Pip install Vyper. Then I'm gonna put my password. And yeah, actually I think that was the problem. Let me see now. Do we have Vyper now? Yes, we have Vyper now. So now that we have Vyper, so the first contract that I have in here is this Hello World smart contract. Why they don't have a night vision thing, right? I mean, don't give me white websites anymore. I guess this one thing is not really clear for me is I don't see the name of the smart contracts with Vyper. You guys have any idea? Like, let's take a look at this guy here. So I have this stored data, but it's the variable. I guess the name of the contract is the name of the file. Interesting approach. Okay, let's go to the fun part now, which is pretty much trying to write code and see how that works. If that works, how do we test it even, how do we make it like we run a transaction or something. So I'm just gonna open the terminal here too. I'm gonna create a folder so we can test this. So probably I'm gonna do a project, project file. Oh, I already have one, so I'm just gonna get it. I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna create a Vyper sessions. And I'm gonna say 01. I'm gonna get on the 01 section, and I'm gonna create a file called real world dot. Let me know if you guys can read, okay? I'm gonna try to make it a little bit bigger here. Dot. What is the? I wonder what is the extension. I guess it's .py. Nice. Okay. Let me see how many persons are in the watching the stream. 3 persons. Cool, awesome. So what I'm gonna do is I now just created the file. So I use the touch command to create a file. And I don't know if there's any convention like keep the file names, lowercase or something along those lines. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna simply open this folder. So projects and Vyper sections. Okay, let me open this. Actually, sorry guys, I need to create a new project, right? This is how we do it, I guess. Or no, let me try to open specifically that file. Maybe that helps. Here, okay. Awesome, we're in the file now. Now I'm gonna search to see if there's any Vyper extensions in VS Code, because like those always help us. So looks like I have one here, very interesting. Vyper for any code. I wonder what's that. I'm gonna go for this one, the first one. And I'm gonna go back to the file. Let me close this. And let me just close this. Let's wait a little bit to see if this extension goes through. Is it enabled? Yes. Okay, let's go back here, and I think out one. No. Awesome. Okay, now he knows that this is a Vyper file. Awesome. So let's try to understand and replicate the Hello World smart contract. So first thing we're seeing here is they do the pragma. So let's do the pragma, and for I can say version. And one thing that I'm interested in here is how those relate to Solidity versions, because this is I guess this could be a Vyper version or something, because every time we talk pragma Solidity, we're actually talking about Solidity, not the EVM bytecode. So this could be something along those lines, but Vyper just have a smaller number. Okay, let's go for the greet function, and let's do a public. So I guess that what we're saying here is the greet variable is public. So I wonder if, and we can do, it's gonna be a string, and now there's something interesting here. What is this 100 thing? Is this the size of the string? You know?
Maybe the maximum characters. Yeah.
But controlling that by default is a little bit. Oh look, declaring public which start type, the type of greet is a string. Ah, you're right. So Vyper kind of offers you a way to offset strings by default. I wonder why it should do that. You know, because maybe to have a more efficient packaging, bytecode packaging system. Could be, right? And apparently Python doesn't have, Vyper doesn't have the same column. So let's go for the first function. The first function is external. So we start with the visibility, which is also nice. I like this, you know. And then we can, and def init, which I imagine is kind of for constructor in Solidity. So we're just setting the value of greet to hello world. And I wonder if I can do this, like, let me just make one test here. Immutable variables Vyper. What will change in the syntax if we need to make something immutable, you know? Value types, strings, max length, numbers, maybe constant. Maybe let me ask ChatGPT. I'm being so fucking dumb. How to declare a variable immutable with Vyper? I wonder if that's even a thing. The constant keyword. So if we ever needed this variable to be immutable, we could do something like this. We didn't even needed to have this function, and probably we could say this equals hello world. This is a very strange syntax to convert, to have the type here and set right after, but I think this works. Anyway, let's go back to what we were doing before. And how do we test this? Let's go to the fun part. So let's go back to the tutorial, and let's see if there's anything we misunderstood. So first thing is the version of Vyper, and I'm having a complaint here for my compiler is much higher. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna like try to do this and this and see if that solves the problem. And that's probably the constant syntax was wrong. And let's see, what's the problem here? Of course, I forgot the visibility. External. Okay, yes, beautiful. So we have the making our init function as external means that it can only be called via transactions or other contracts. Defining our init function as a Pythonic constructor called upon object creation will initialize the create variable. Passing a hello world. Okay. Now interesting. Now we can do Vyper hello world. And I wonder if I need to. Fuck, bro, I love this thing. Okay, I gotta say. Vyper.f ABI, so we can create the ABI for the contract. Oh, of course, it's not contract, it's hello world. Very interesting. So we have the ABI. Let's take this ABI here. Let's bring it to a JSON visualizer. Let's take a look here. Let's put this guy. It's always hard to copy from the terminal, right? JSON viewer. So we have the state mutability, non-payable. So we have a really when we say that init function is really the constructor, and then we have a state mutability for a view function that is also very interesting. So Vyper added for us a getter for this variable. Nice. Awesome. Now we need to create a more. No, what I wanted to do was kind of test this on a blockchain. I wonder how that works with Vyper. Let's find out. I have this mu thing. I think I can just use any testnet, right? I just need to connect to the RPC because the bytecode is there. Let's see what he's saying here. So, okay. Now let's deploy our contract using my Ether wallet. Okay, I don't want to use my Ether wallet. Okay, because my Ether wallet has this thing to deploy Vyper, but I'm pretty sure that I can go on Remix. Ethereum. Oh, I cannot use Vyper on Remix. I can only use you. I wonder if there's any plugins or something. Vyper plugins Remix. This is pretty much my workflow for this stuff, you know, searching around. My internet is not helping, apparently. Vyper Remix client. What's happening? Did I lose connection? Can you guys hear me? Sorry guys, I had a little bit of a sorry guys, I had a little bit of a oh man no. Hello. Hello. Sorry guys, I had a little bit of a. Ai meu Deus do céu, puta que pariu, cara.